you haven't heard, man, you got to go check out our Facebook page and make sure you go through the videos there. There's a funny little video that you might like and enjoy. Yes, we are in Texas, and barbecues are a big thing here. So we decided to start barbecuing some sacred cows. And if you want to join us, we start this Friday night. So 2 days from now, we're going to be on at 7 o'clock, and we're going to go for about an hour just teaching on some things, kind of tearing down these sacred cows. Sacred cow is something that you haven't been allowed to touch. It's a topic in our case where people have not been allowed to question it. So we're going to question it. We're going to ask you to question it, and we're going to dive into some topics like hell and does God really abandon you at any time? Things like that is what we're going to cover. And if you want to join us, bring your friends, anybody who's kind of sitting on the fence in these areas. God is a good God, and we're going to talk about that, and we're going to come out with that good smelling God, like the good smelling roses. We know that it's a beautiful thing when we understand the love of God. Barbara, if you don't mind, because I know a lot of the people that are watching don't really know much about you, if anything about you. How about if you go ahead and just share a little bit about who you are? And I don't know if you want to jump into your story yet, but I know that is a big part of who you are and how you got to where you're at today. But why don't you start us off by just sharing a little bit about who you are, where you're at today?
Well, I started, my spiritual journey when I was about 4 years old, between 4 and 6. And my parents were Lutheran, and we kind of dabbled in the Lutheran Church, Missouri Synod. And we had friends in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, that their daughter was born with a horrible systemic cancer. And they had been experimenting with fertility drugs back in the 1960s. And unfortunately, the baby was victim to some of those, the impact of some of those drugs. But she had cancer throughout her body. Wow. And they were introduced, my friends were introduced to like Kenneth Hagin and Oral Roberts, and they were continually hearing about how this was God's will and how they just needed to trust him, and they raised their hands at an altar call and got saved, and then my parents got saved, and long story short, it was a 2-year journey with this little with their daughter Judy. And she was healed overnight.
Wow.
And the cancer literally disappeared in her body. And that began my parents and my journey into Christian fundamentalism. And one of the things that I say is that, when miracles happen, they tend to validate whatever system of belief you find yourself within.
Yeah. One of the things I feel like, we're doing today, I feel like, well, I'll back up a little bit. I'm an evangelist at heart. I went to seminary and became a pastor and was on the track, for evangelism. It's really what I wanted to do. And then, gone through a lot of years of some different changes. And now I feel like I'm back to evangelism. But the evangelism I'm looking at today is actually pulling Christians out of the religious systems so that they can find Christ. That's the evangelism that I'm working toward today. That's the thing is most people that are out there teaching a lot of the doctrines that are kind of that manipulative, fear-based gospel. They're not doing it deliberately to be deceptive or anything. They're simply repeating what they've been told that they should. They're regurgitating what they've been taught, and without questioning. That's why we call them sacred cows. You can't question the doctrines, because honestly, when we question things, if it's truth, it will be revealed. If it's not truth, it will be revealed. So that's why someone who doesn't have a good leg to stand on is going to be very fearful and very defensive if you start questioning their doctrine. If they know it's truth, it's like, question away. Let's dig in, because we'll find out how deep this truth really goes.
And truth needs no defense.
Yeah.
But when you begin to challenge some of these sacred cows, one man, and if I said his name, you would know who I was talking about. But I was an acquaintance of his, and we talked. I think it was probably 2002 or three, about some of the things that I was hearing and sensing and seeing. And he said, if what you're saying is true, then my whole life and my ministry has been in vain. And so
And
it's very hard for them to let go.
so hard.